Hi, I'm Heather Boushey with the Center for American Progress, and today I have with me Page Gardner
with Women's Voices, Women Vote, and I'm very happy to be here, Heather, and thank you for including me in this great new project. Speaking of a great new project, there's the Shriver Report, A Woman's Nation Changes Everything. Tell me, what was that about? Why did you all do this study, and what's its purpose?
Well, we did the study because we had noted that women are now on the cusp of being half of all U.S. workers. And in fact, women are now more likely to be breadwinners in families, and especially mothers are now breadwinners or co-breadwinners in about 2/3 of families with children. So we took that as our jumping off point and wanted to understand, what does this mean for American families? You know, one of the things that hasn't happened is that even though most families no longer have a stay-at-home parent, the institutions around us, like government and faith institutions and the media and businesses, haven't adapted to integrate this new kind of family and the new way we work into everything we do.
It's interesting that you bring up the number of women in the economy. As you know, half of all women, almost half of all women, are now women on their own or unmarried women. Tell us about how the report addresses their unique challenges in the marketplace and their unique challenges as we look to a changing nation.
Well, women are increasingly on their own, and unmarried women are a growing share of our population, and importantly, unmarried women raising children are a growing share of parents in America today. And so the Shriver Report looks at this from all different angles. We look at what kinds of care these families need and the unique needs of single female-headed families. We look at how faith-based institutions have helped single-parent families to adapt to the need for that parent to work. And we've looked at how the media has looked at unmarried women and whether or not they've really addressed the way women actually are today. So I want to turn over and give some questions to you now. Now, Women's Voices, Women's Vote really puts a spotlight on these women on their own, on unmarried women. Can you tell us a little bit more about that project?
Women's Voices, Women's Vote is dedicated to ensuring that these women on their own have a voice and a vote in our democracy. And the public policy process recognizes that nearly half of women today in this country are unmarried and on their own. And so it presents very different challenges if you are a woman on your own as opposed to being in a two-earner income family and have the safety net, if you will, of the spouse.
What would you say for unmarried women? What is the biggest challenges that they face in America today?
Again, as the Shriver Report notes, one of the biggest challenges that these women face is the economic challenge. Their jobless rates are higher. They have less health insurance. They were the first victims really, of the subprime mortgage crisis. They are really on the cutting edge of the economic crisis in the United States today. And the family structure is changing, and again, as the Shriver Report notes, businesses and government need to recognize the changing nature of A, American families, but B, American women in this United States of today.
Well, 3 cheers to that. Women's Voices, Women's Vote is also about affecting change. How do you see unmarried women's role in affecting the kinds of changes we'd like to see?
You know, one of the most interesting part about these women on their own, unmarried women, is that they are the fastest growing large demographic we have in this country today. And what we try to do is make sure that their voices are heard in both the electoral process as well as the public policy process. They are increasing, they're 25% now of the voting eligible population, and yet they don't vote in numbers that represent their share of the population. In 2008, they turned out in record numbers, but even so, they sort of undervoted, if you will. So we are trying to get them registered and voting so they have a voice and a vote in the ballot box and therefore have a voice and a vote in the public policy process.
Well, thank you so much, Paige, for being with us here today.
Thanks for including me.